God's promise for us today is that He will restore our health and heal our hurts. Now, in this fallen world that we live in, it's pretty evident for most of us, I think, as much as we try to avoid it, that sickness is part of everyday life and death as well. And we all know someone who is struggling in some form of physical or mental health problem. And if we don't know someone else, it's ourselves. So Jesus taught us when he taught us how to pray in the Lord's Prayer. He taught us that we would pray that His kingdom would come, that God's will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. And when we look to the final images of heaven that are given to us in the New Testament, we can see that sickness is not part of that, death is not part of that, disease is not part of that, tears are not part of that, suffering. So we can receive comfort. This is the comfort that we can receive, knowing that healing is part of the good news. It's part of why Jesus died and rose again, and it's part of the hope that He offers us. Now, in this promise, we also know that we live in a fallen world and our bodies don't always heal the way that they could or the way that we would want them to. There isn't miraculous breakthroughs that go against the way of how things work here with nature. So when those things don't happen, this can often lead to disillusionment or just struggle with our faith and with our views of God. But the promise and the hope that we truly have through Jesus is that though we don't know and we can't predict how healing works here on earth, we are truly promised that it does come to earth, that any goodness, any healing, any love, any wholeness that has come is because of Jesus and what He's done, and it's because of God. And we know that there is a promise of full healing and full restoration, both physical and mental, for anyone who would come to Jesus and put their faith and hope in Him. So if it's not now, we have a promise for a future, even beyond death. So as we look to this promise today from Jeremiah, that God is the one who heals us and restores us, let us put our faith, let's pray that His kingdom would come here and now in our physical and mental suffering and needs and in the death that we experience, but let's look to the God of hope even beyond death for the fullness that is to come in our healing. And let's thank Jesus for what He's done in that area. So I hope you have a great day wrestling with this promise and believing this promise that God restores us and God heals us.